all over the world. This is Bolaji, Time with the Champions podcast. So I have guests here that are about to talk and review and discuss the Women's World Cup taking place, the 2023 Women's World Cup taking place in New Zealand and Australia. In the studio with me is Jeremy Rice, a football coach in Canada. His experience is wide, so from youth to teenagers to young girls. So he has experience with the female soccer. I have Taufik Onotunde with me, a Man U fan just like Jeremy Rice. I hope you don't gang up against us of other teams. Taufik is an ardent fan and he watches the female soccer too. So it's not only male soccer that these guys here watch. So I know that I'm safe, even being the only female here. I'm safe because they have passion for female soccer. Then I have Peter Asagba here, and yes, he even posts about female soccer on his media pages, his social media pages, and he talks about this female soccer. He follows it up. He's a Tottenham fan, and he's so passionate about Argentina too. I don't know whether he's transferred his passion to the female Argentinian team. I also have Frankie. Frankie Oganbasi. He comes from a sports family. His father was a boxing champion, a world boxing champion, and he's
first of all, it's been a very
involved
grueling
in
day
football, which we call soccer in North America,
and
he's an Arsenal fan, and
now,
he's been posting things about the female soccer on his
as we already know, those of us
so
in the UK,
glad to have you guys here with me. Welcome.
The hours the matches are played are not to our convenience. They are played when we are either in bed or getting up in the morning. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to start with.
I am a Skype person.
Thank you.
I have all the matches recorded.
So can you tell me what you think about the
So I saw the first two
female
games,
soccer
Morocco and
how
South
far
Korea,
the tournament has gone. What do you think about
Switzerland and New Zealand?
And how far? What has caught your interest?
Normally, I pretend like I'm watching these games live, even though I know they've already been played. So usually, I close my eyes and ears to all social media, so it's not spoiled for me. Although in the last meet, in one of the games was spoiled for me, the Nigeria game, which I haven't known the results of yet. And today again, the Germany and the Colombia game was spoiled for me by Bolaji herself when she posted something in my inbox. I've only just finished watching that game now, and it was really grueling. And in fact, for that particular game between Germany and Colombia, you know, as at the last World Cup in 2019, I was kind of disappointed that Colombia did not qualify because there was a girl in that Colombian team I really enjoyed watching. She goes by the name of Lady Andrade. And when Colombia played their first game, I didn't see her, so I assumed she was not in the World Cup. But there she was in today's game. I mean, she didn't put up a sparkling performance like she did back then, but at least I was just glad to see her. But then it was an enjoyable game. Morocco, South Korea. Yes, Morocco put up their first victory. It was quite impressive. And then there was a draw between Switzerland and New Zealand, which has knocked New Zealand out. But I think the particular highlights for this weekend has to be the game between Sweden and Italy. Sweden totally destroyed Italy. Just as there was another high-scoring game today. Now, what was that one? Can anybody remind me? There was a high-scoring game today.
Is it the Norway one or which one?
That was the Norway-Philippine game. Norway-Philippine.
Norway game, yeah.
Yes, Norway-Philippine, yes. That was another 5-0 game, but I didn't see that one. I only just saw the highlights while I was watching another game. But anyway, it's been quite a fascinating tournament. I've enjoyed the games, and like I did say the last time, women's soccer has really come of age. So it's been a really befitting experience. I've enjoyed it. I really have.
Yes. Oh, like you said,
Unless there's anything to add, yeah.
Okay. We'll add that. Thank you so much, Peter. The thing where, I mean, like you said, the Norway Philippine games are 6-0, and it was so much that we don't even, I stopped watching after about 3 goals or so. So thank you for your contribution.
Yeah. Sweden destroyed Italy yesterday.
So we've been having high-scoring games.
Yeah.
Frankie, what do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, what have you seen so far? We're doing the review of the past matches, whatever, just a general one of what you've seen before we now preview the ones that are coming up. So you don't have to talk about all the teams, but which ones, caught your interest that you're so, amazed, or you're so interested in that you didn't know that this will be as interesting as this?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I was able to watch the Colombia versus Germany game today, and sorry, Peter, you must have seen my post. I hope I didn't upset you, because what I realized with that game was that the Germans tend to depend too much on their height, and I pretty much love, from the very onset of the game when it started, that the Colombians had a game plan, which was to crowd the Germans. They showed resilience, and a player caught my eye by the name of Linda Caicedo. Apparently, she's 18-year-old.
Linda Caicedo.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention her, yes.
I kept an eye on her, and believe you me, I would wish Arsenal Women Football Club can have a look into her. She's gonna be a star in future. That's one
Arsenal fan, begin and end. Everything begins and ends with Arsenal. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Well, that's one to keep an eye on. I never really got to see the other matches because I have had a torrid free night of my neighbors. They've all traveled, and the alarm's been going off very late in the night till early morning. So I've not been really able to watch all the matches like I would have wanted to.
Okay.
Anyway.
So that one too was a shocker to me, because I was expecting the Germans to demolish the Colombians. But I could see, from the beginning to the end, the Colombians were on the Germans, and it took only, the Germans to have a penalty for them to even equalize in the first place. And I already given up, and then I now saw, they scored in the 9 minutes of the game. The Colombians.
Yeah, the 7th minute of extra time.
Yes. So that's that's a shock for me in the whole tournament. Thank you very much, Frankie. We have Robbie. Robbie has joined us from Nigeria now, and Robbie is a sportcaster and son of a coach. So he has a lot to contribute, and he's also a Man U fan. So Jeremy, you have somebody with you that can maybe join hands and talk about Manchester, maybe in any of our programs later. So Taufik, what your own review of the all the matches. Which one? I mean, like I said, you didn't have to have watched all the matches, but the ones you've watched, which one did you find very interesting that piqued your interest? Yeah.
Well, thank you. I hope you can all hear me. First, I give a shout out to Jeremy and Robbie, GGMU.
Thank you very much.
Going back to
amazing, Captain.
Peter.
Boring.
Yeah. Anyway, I've watched some of the matches, and to me, two teams that I can discuss about. First, Jamaicans. They have a draw and a win, and they are not a team that most people have given any chance that they're going to qualify. But from the way they play, it's sheer grit and determination. And I see them qualifying for the round of 16 if they continue the same way they're going. Then secondly, my own team, Nigeria, so far so good, but I don't know what strategy the coach is using. I believe they're just mopping up pressure, very few on possessions, taking chances with the balls, and it has favored them so far. We had a draw with Canada. We were able to beat the co-host, but I'm not sure about how it will go with Ireland. That is a match that we need at least a draw to qualify for the round of 16. But all in all, I have a funny feeling that the teams that will qualify for the round of 16, there will be a significant number of shockers there, while heavy hitters, some of them will be going on at the end of this first round. Thank you.
Thank you, Taufik. Robbie, what are your contributions before we now move to the next round of talk and discussion?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's nice to be here once again. Quickly, I think one game that caught my attention. I'll pick one game from yesterday and one game from today. The game between Brazil and France caught my attention, and it's one of the most interesting games of the tournament. France scored first, Brazil equalized, and towards the dying embers of the game, France were able to get their winner, and of course that more or less puts 3 points in the pocket of the French going into their last game. And I think that win is very significant for them, looking at the fact that against all odds, they drew against Jamaica in their first game. I, for one, thought they were going to smash goals past the Jamaicans, but Jamaica did very, very well. And of course, they were able to get a draw in that one. And coming into the game of today, I did not give Colombia a chance. But I had to go back and watch the game because I didn't have time to see the game. But having seen what somebody like Linda Caicedo did, it just makes me believe something that truly, in all sincerity, Colombia, they deserve the victory they got in that game. If that game had ended in a draw, I don't think it would have been a fair result to the Colombians. So for Colombia, they got everything that they deserve coming out of that game, which is all 3 points. And one thing that is very interesting about the Colombians is the fact that against Germany, they did not sit back to hit on the counter. They actually went almost toe-to-toe with the Germans. They matched them in almost every area. And just like you said, it took the Germans a penalty to be able to get a goal back into that game. I saw the penalty, and it was a clear-cut penalty. I think the goalkeeper was a little bit naive, and she committed herself too early into that challenge. But all in all, for Colombia, it is a well-deserved 3 points, and big congratulations to them. Tomorrow is Nigeria's time to shine again. Let us see if these girls will be able to bring all 3 points home against Ireland.
Thank you very much, Robbie. And I just before we go further, I had this discussion, and people were talking about the female team not playing like the men, and that maybe that's why it's not caught people's interest. I mean, as much that maybe it's only, we can say maybe US is playing like men. We can say I think some people said the Germans and few other countries, maybe Brazil, playing like men, but that the women's soccer is not really as interesting as men. What do you think? Because before I give my opinion as a woman, what do you guys think? Jeremy, you coach the women's football. So what do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things, and I'll echo what everybody said today too. Just some brilliant matches, some amazing goals that have been scored. I find that in the past, maybe some people could make that argument with regards to it's not as fast or as skilled, or from a tactics standpoint, they're not using the same kind of formations, or maybe the formations aren't quite right for that particular team. But what I have noticed change in the women's game more than anything is the skill. But what I like more about their game is the attack. It seems to be a full field attack from the teams, even the teams that maybe aren't quite in it. They don't tend to sit back, and I apologize to Italy, but Italy in the past in men's soccer has been the boringest soccer you could ever watch, because they just sat back, waited for a counterattack, and then literally went down and scored 1-0, and they win the game over that. And yet the other team is playing, whatever country it was playing beautiful football and had the ability to be able to try and create some new things and have some intelligence behind there, right? And I see that changing in the women's game now more than ever. And I mean, the goal that you guys are referring to from Casito, I think is how you pronounce her name, like that was a brilliant goal. I don't care, guy, girl, whatever, it doesn't matter. That, like the way she, tiptoed through the 18 and then put that ball in, it was brilliant. And in the highlights that I watched of that game in particular, because I was interested to see how Germany was going to come out, and I had a feeling they were going to kind of come out with more of a bullying kind of tactic because they are a bigger team. Colombia neutralized that by keeping the ball on the ground, right? They didn't play the ball high because they're not tall. They're not going to win those balls in the air, right? But they are going to win the balls on the ground and use their footwork and their skills that way, and that's how they beat them, right? So I personally, what I've seen change in the women's game in the past, I'm going to say the past 12 years, that is the one thing that I've noticed the most, is the fact that the skill level is getting up to where it should be. The countries are becoming more and more even. You're not seeing just one or two countries run away with this whole thing. You've got like bona fide winners in almost every single pool. You've got teams there you can make an argument about. Whereas in the past, you maybe had 4 or 5 countries that were strong, and the rest of them were just kind of all playing catch-up, right? So that's the thing that I love the most, and the thing that I've seen the biggest change in women's soccer. And, again, you've got world-class players playing at a world-class event, which is what we all love. Guys or girls, doesn't matter. That's what we want to see, right? The top players playing at the top of their game against each other. And I truly believe that that's what we've got going on now, finally.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. I have that opinion too. I mean, we are physiologically different, but I believe the game is so much better. And I mean, I remember when Nigeria used to just beat every team in Africa, and we used to win all that. But it's not happening now. So the tournament and female soccer has grown so. I mean, far from where it was before. We moved so forward, and I believe that the female soccer will, gather more interest, and people will watch more, especially after these 2023 Australia New Zealand female the Women World Cup. I believe that things will be better by the next time, and then more and more interest will be. People will have more interest. That's my opinion. Does anybody have anything to say about that? The tournament regarding the female team as against the female tournament as against the men's World Cup? Does anybody have 1 or 2 things to say about that?
Let me quickly add this. Let me just quickly add this. I'm going to talk about specifically about Nigeria and Morocco. For the Moroccan national team, they made Africa proud. That was our last year's World Cup, where they got to the semi-finals. And yes, they didn't win the 3rd place, but I think for the fact that they were able to go as far as the semi-finals, gave Africa that leverage to believe that, yes, subsequent editions of the World Cup, Africa can go all the way. And for Morocco, Morocco, that is that their female national teams have gotten their first ever victory at the World Cup today. It tells you the sharp contrast between the men's national team and the women's national team. The men's national team is a formidable team, not just in Africa, but also in the world right now. You have the likes of Achraf Hakimi, you have a Nesri, you have a Bono, that is the goalkeeper of the national team. So it tells you how strong the Moroccan national team is as compared to the women's national team. And like I said, they got their first victory against all odds today. Coming to the Nigerian national team, for the men's national team, I think their dominance has regressed a bit over the last couple of years as compared to the women. The women's national team, that is the Super Falcons, are the most successful team on the continent for both male and female. They have 9 African Cup of Nations titles to their names. No other team on the continent has that. So it tells you the sharp contrast of the men's team to the women's team. In Nigeria, many people resonate with the Falcons and they believe in the Falcons much more than they do the Super Eagles. So for this World Cup, I think it just shows where the strength lies for the men and where the strength lies for the female national team when you actually put those teams side by side.
Okay. Thank you for that, because I was going to address that in my next question. So, Taofiq, what do you feel about how the African teams have played so far, the one you know in this tournament? What do you think, how the African teams have fared so far? So, do you have anything to say about that, your opinion? In this World Cup, the African teams have done well or not done well, especially when we look at Morocco and Nigeria and other things, because Nigeria shocked the world by defeating, who did we defeat again? By defeating,
Australia.
Australia. Sorry, I lost
Australia.
So it was a shocker for me, just like Colombia shocked Germany today. So what do you think of how well the African teams have done so far?
Well, basically, like Robbie mentioned earlier, over the years, Nigeria has dominated the female soccer world in the continent. But other teams are coming up now. So all those years that Nigeria has been going for female World Cup, they were always average, while the other teams were zero. Nigeria, the best in Africa, was always average at the World Cup, while the other teams were just counting numbers. But things have changed now. Nigeria has dropped, let's say, from 100% to about 90% in the continent, even though we are still topping. But other teams have come up from 5-10% to around 60-70. There's not much gap between us and them now. So you find out that the general performance of African teams, particularly the female, in World Cup is much better than what it was in the past. So I believe that the female soccer is picking up much better on the continent. It used to be a one-team affair, Nigeria alone. But now we are seeing other things coming up. You can see how Morocco has done. Nigeria is proving itself. I can remember some years ago, even the male team, or was it the female team, Zambia, collecting 9-0 or things like that. But you hardly have that happening again now, irrespective of what format each team is playing. So I believe generally things have picked up for the female team in Africa compared to what it was in the past. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tao. I agree. And I'm going to put it to Peter now. Peter, do you think what a man can do, the women are doing it better, or what do you think, just generally, before I ask Frankie? Because I have a feeling of Frankie's opinion. So do you think what the women are doing better than what the men are doing right now? You're looking at it perspectively and saying.
I don't know what it is you fear Frankie is going to say, but I have a funny feeling it is exactly what I'm going to say myself. You see, at the risk of trying to sound chauvinistic, it is what it is. There is no way in this century the women's game is going to match the men's game, especially where the World Cup is concerned. There is no sporting event on earth that holds as much attention anywhere in the world as the World Cup. Now, the Women's World Cup is a great tournament. It's fascinating. I've enjoyed it. But meeting standards with the Men's FIFA World Cup, forget it. Not going to happen.
Okay, thank
That
you,
is
Peter.
me
The jury, the jury is
like
still
it is.
out. As a woman, the jury is still out on that. I'm going to go back to Jeremy to
That's why I say
that.
at least
Before
for
I
standing,
ask,
I'm not saying it because I'm a man. I'm just saying it that that's just what it is.
Yeah,
Francis, do you
I
agree?
feel in future things will be very, men are having interest in female soccer now, and I feel in future things will get better. That was just a joke from me about women's soccer and men's soccer. So I'm going to ask Jeremy later at the end of the program. Yeah, I'm going to ask Jeremy at the end of the program. I don't take on that. So Frankie, what do you think about, from UK teams and the women and like I watched that lady's call yesterday. Reese brother, I think her name is Lindsay Reese. Scored yesterday. Linda Reese scored yesterday, and the goal was so. I really love the goal. Yeah. So how do you?
Lauren
Reese. Yeah. So how do you? Which is James Reese's sister. So what do you feel about it? I want your opinion about the UK team, the England team. Yeah.
The very last topic we had, I did mention that England is the team that I have to win this competition. I based that solely on the performance in Euro that they won, but the team seems to be suffering a lot from injuries to key players, and well, I'm not one to change my mind to say I did pick them last week when we had the last session, like I said. For James, I've never doubted her ability. She's a really good player.
Okay, James. Sorry, she's Lauren James. Sorry, is Reese James?
Lauren James.
Yeah, Reese James. I mixed up the names. Yeah.
No worries. I still believe that England team will progress as the game goes further. Russo is the one for me that needs to carry the weight now, but she's really underperformed. I really feel like the manager really needs to gamble and bring in. She shouldn't really stick with the players that she's sticking with. I believe she's got a lot of players on the bench to see them do better in this competition. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And now we have to move to. We talked about our opinions. We've reviewed all the matches played. Let us look at as from tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the day that so many matches will be, qualification will be decided, the teams that will qualify. So I would like us to start from Canada versus Australia and Nigeria versus Ireland. So I'll start with Jeremy. What do you think about Canada versus Australia tomorrow? Because they need at least to have a draw to be able to qualify. So people have picked from that group that Australia and Canada will qualify from that group until Nigeria turned Australia and drew with Canada. So what do you think will happen now? What are the chances of the Canadian team?
I think if they played like they did in their second game, they'll come out victorious in this game. I'm going to be bold and say that. What I saw was wrong with their game, and not so much just from the tactical play, but just in the heavy-weighted passes that were going on the pitch, they weren't under control. And to Nigeria's credit, they were pressing them and they were taking the advantage when they could to take it up the pitch and create that opportunity on the attack. But if they play like they did in their second game, where they had shape, they had control, their passes were on point, they were putting balls in areas that they needed to put it into space so that they could actually get it across and finish, I think that's where they're going to beat Australia. I think if they let Australia bring the game to them, then that's the wrong play here, and they'll end up with a draw maybe. But they need to press the attack. They need to have the control throughout the whole game, and that will give them the opportunity to be able to just chip away at Australia. Because if anything, we saw what can happen and how Australia's defense can break down quite nicely for a side when Nigeria played them. Because I wouldn't have thought that Nigeria would have come away with a 3-2 victory over them. Not the way that I saw Australia play their first match. So that's what I think Canada needs to do. I think they need to stay strong on that. They need to keep Christine Sinclair for the latter part of the game.
Part of the game, yeah.
Okay, bring her in at that point, not as a starter. They need Jessie Fleming in there. They need Heidema. They need those girls to control the game that way. And their back four that they have are so strong on, even if a ball does get out, they are so strong that they can get back with speed and control and be able to bring that ball back out.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. And I know, just a minute, Frankie. And I know you are rooting for your for Canada to get to the next round, to the round of 16.
Yeah,
Robbie,
hard to be unbiased on that one.
Unbiased on that, Robbie. Oh, so what is your opinion about that Canada versus Australia and that Nigeria and Nigeria versus Ireland? Because Ireland is so physical, very physical in their games, and they can mess things up despite the fact that they are not qualifying. They can get Nigeria out of the tournament. So what do you think of your suggestions, and what do you think will happen? I know if I say suggestions, it's not as if they will hear what we're saying here, but what do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
I think first and foremost, Canada against Australia, on paper, Canada looks more or less the team to carry the day. Not just because of the name, but I think because of the experience that Canada brings to the table. Canada, they are Olympic champions. That is something that I don't think Australia is going to sniff or come anywhere close to, maybe in the next, not even in the next 2 editions from now. So it tells you how much experience Canada carries going on to the field. Like I said, Canada were a little bit conservative against Nigeria. I don't know, maybe they respected Nigeria too much, or they were not just sharp on that day. Their second game, yes, I think in the second half they had to go for the jugular, because they were a goal down after the first half, and they were able to get all 3 points from that game. Against Australia, I think they just have to make their experience count in all they do tomorrow. Yes, 4 points is on the table. 1 point is good enough to see them through to the knockout round. But if they are not careful, I think Australia might just throw more or less what we call an Hail Mary tomorrow, and they will get all 3 points from the Canadians. So the Canada has to make sure that they control things. They have to be on the front foot from the blast of the whistle to when the game ends. And that way, they can make sure that they cross all their T's and dot all their I's, and make sure that no surprises are coming the way of the Australians tomorrow. For Nigeria against Northern Ireland have nothing to play for. But the coach of the Super Falcons spoke today, and he said that people think is crazy when he says Northern Ireland can defeat Nigeria tomorrow. And it is not impossible. I think the Super Falcons should not get ahead of themselves tomorrow. Azizat Oshoala did not start that game. Yeah, the Republic of Ireland. Azizat Oshoala did not start the last game. She came off the bench, in which she was able to score the third goal that ultimately secured that point for Nigeria. I think Azizat should start tomorrow. Ajibade should also start tomorrow. If Nigeria more or less play 4-4-2, where Ajibade and Azizat Oshoala are leading the lines for Nigeria, it puts more pace that is up front in attack for Nigeria, and it also keeps the Irish, that is, it keeps them on the back foot when it comes to their defense, because Rashidat is somebody that is very pacey, and she knows how to run with the ball. Azizat is also pacey, but Azizat will need a whole lot of support up front to be able to get something productive out of that end. So I think for the coach, playing those two girls up front and making sure that the likes of Deborah Abiodun should be back from her suspension. Deborah Abiodun can marshal the midfield for Nigeria because of the fact that she's somebody that has enough energy to burn that is in the middle of the pack. So if the coach can play with those two ladies up front, Rashidat and Azizat, I think Nigeria should have their basics covered tomorrow. The defense should stand as strong as possible because the goalkeeper also is somebody that is very, very dependable. That is Chiamaka Nnadozie. She is very, very dependable. So I don't think with her in goal and the defense as it has been, we'll have anything to worry about tomorrow.
Thank you so much for your depth of knowledge of the Nigerian team. You told us about the team. And Frankie, I want to ask you. People are saying, I feel that to an extent, that Nigeria was a bit scrappy, although we won by, bronze, force, and some other things. So do you think Nigeria has what it takes, even if they get to the next round? Because right now we're not even sure they're getting to the next round. What do you think Nigerian play has been so far? How well have you been impressed with how they played? Whichever one you've watched, either the full game or highlights, what do you think about the Nigerian team?
Lily, that's a good question. But I must say that, when we talk football, I just don't talk about the game itself. Looking at the team, looking at the bench, looking at the manager, it's a different feel to what I even get with the men's team. That manager shows a lot of passion in that team, and I think they understand it. If you look at Nigeria, even though I hear one or two of us say that they've been kind of like not tidy in their passing and a bit tough in tackling, because the lady Abiodun, who got the red card, that was a very, very, very not malicious, but very careless, if I might call it that, tackle for her to get the red card.
No, look. Somebody's looking.
Pardon?
Sorry, later. Sorry. No.
Okay.
I feel like if Nigeria qualifies into the next round, and the camaraderie and the team passion that I see, like I said, I haven't really seen it in the males team, in the men's team, and I think this could just help them to go further in the competition as a whole,
Okay. Thank you so much. Atom, what's your opinion? And that's Taufik. I call him Atom or Tao. Tao, what's your opinion about the Nigerian team and how far
thank you.
both sides of play, the way they're playing now? Do you think they can go to the next round, and do you think they will play well? And even maybe Morocco, whichever of the African teams you think will play well?
My fear with the Nigerian team is the same thing that happens to our male team. I just pray that they are not complacent tomorrow. The mere fact that Northern Ireland is out of the competition is my fear that they might not go all out, and if they concede, they might find it difficult coming back from it. I support what Frankie said, Rashidat, Azizat, we need to go all out to get this point early enough in the game. This is not a game whereby you bring Azizat into the game. She needs to start. Our pacey attackers and midfielders need to be at the top of their game. Well, I've been hearing good reviews about the coach. I hope he can stamp his authority on the ladies, not to think that Northern Ireland is not there. They could be a spoiler, ready to take our scalp back home to Ireland, even though they are going home. So we need to be very careful. And the only thing that can help us is to top this group, whichever way we want to go about it, so that we might have maybe a lesser opponent. Not really lesser. What I mean by that is that a better chance in the round of 16. But basically, we need to up our game if we get to the round of 16. We've been sort of absorbing attacks in all these ones that we've seen so far. We need to showcase our strength if we qualify for the round of 16. I pray and I believe that we should qualify. We need to play as if we're confident of the game, not waiting for the opponents to bring the attack to us all the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tal. It seems as if none of you guests here, my guest is sticking the neck, his neck out to say, oh, Canada will win. Canada, even the Canadian here is not saying that. The British Nigerians here are not speaking out the Nigerians. Nobody is speaking. Not each and every person is just saying, oh, it's likely will qualify. So I'll ask you a question. So who do you think will qualify for the next round? I'll start from Robbie. And then go to Peter. I get ready.
Well, let me call it as it is. I think Canada will qualify tomorrow, and I think Nigeria will qualify tomorrow.
Okay. Peter, what do you think?
As it is now, Ireland is already out of the competition. They don't have anything at stake. And Nigeria has faced the two tough opponents in the group, one resulting in a win and one resulting in a draw. But you see that game against Australia that Nigeria won, I very much agree with Taufik when he said Nigeria was just mopping up pressure. You see, that early goal that they conceded was like a smacking on the backside that they needed to spring up and step up, and that was what saw them winning that game. Because against the first game against Canada, they were playing like the Nigeria we all know. They take and they give with not much difference to show. With the result that it left a lot of Nigerians unsatisfied, and that was the same thing that was about to happen against Australia. But for the fact that they went and conceded an early goal, which became a wake-up call for them, and then they now saw themselves winning the game towards the very end of the match. Hence that excitement from as if this was a final or a semi-final. But that being said, I don't see Ireland giving Nigeria any problem at all that Australia and Canada could not have given. So there's every suggestion to say Nigeria will qualify, because that match is going to be either a draw or a victory for Nigeria. I don't see them losing that game. So Nigeria should qualify.
Jeremy, what do you think? Is Canada going to qualify?
Yeah, I feel Canada's going to qualify. I'm going to agree with everybody that's on here as well. I think Nigeria is going through. I don't see them taking Ireland lightly. I think they've got a point to prove, and they're going to go out and do it. I feel like the air's been let out of the tires, so to speak, when it comes to Ireland. They've got a few girls there that are going to play with passion like they always do every single time, but I don't feel like Ireland as a team collectively has looked like they are going to beat anybody. I think Nigeria is stronger on their set pieces as well. I think they've got a better threat there, and I think, especially off of corner kicks and so on, I think they've got the opportunities there that they can put something in the back of the net. And with Canada, again, as I mentioned before, and I put in the notes here too about the fact that they were literally playing not to lose against Nigeria, very tentatively and not actually pressing the attack. But probably about the 20-minute mark of the second match, they definitely were playing, especially after Ireland came out so quickly. They were definitely playing to win and to make a point and to show what they're all about. And I think the leadership on the team is strong enough that that's going to push them past Australia.
Thank you, Jeremy. That's very funny that you brought set pieces because my friends make fun of me that everything in football, soccer, starts and ends with set pieces with me. Because I am a very, very, I believe so much in set pieces that once the Chiefs are down, set pieces helps you. The stop ball, you can use that. So thanks for bringing that up. But in my opinion, I felt that Nigeria did not defend their corner kicks against them. But we'll see. Maybe it will improve. And maybe they are good with scoring set pieces, but defending set pieces, I saw a lapse in one of the matches, even against Australia. But I saw a lapse with their set pieces, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Atom, just briefly, Tao, what do you think? I'm talking to Tao Stick. What do you think about the matches? And then Frankie, then we'll now round up.
Yeah. All other things being equal, I believe Nigeria will qualify, but Canada should have an edge over Australia. So from our group, I look at Canada and Nigeria qualifying. But I will say that for Nigerians going to watch that, who will be watching that match, expect a little bit of tension, even though we'll still win. Thank you.
Okay. Frankie, your opinion?
There might be some spanner thrown into some people's work here. me being liking the underdogs. Canada needs to watch out for a player. I believe his name is Grolo. She's very, very, very good at long distance shooting. So Canada needs to watch out for her. I'm not sure if Jeremy is familiar with this name, this Australian player. Is it Grolo? Grolo. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she takes a lot of long distance shots. And Canada really need to be on the lookout because I feel like that game is gonna be very, very tense. Okay. It's because of the fact that both teams can knock out each other.
Okay. Like Robbie just said, the name is Rolfo. So Canada should watch out for Rolfo and you're not
Rolfo, yeah? Okay.
And you're not still seeking out for Nigeria or Canada yet.
Well, with Nigeria, it should be a win for Nigeria tomorrow. All things being equal. Ademola did say about complacency. That's expected, because I'm not going to try and say that the celebration was a bit overboard. I think it's good to let loose. And I think it should stand them in good stead. We need a draw in that match, and that's okay for us. But like Demola said, earlier stated that we need to finish on top of that group. As we all know, that enhances our chances of playing a lesser difficult, which it doesn't really work out all the time. But we are expected to play a less difficult opponent in the next round. So for me, I'm still rooting for Canada and Nigeria tomorrow, but Australia can put a spanner in the works of the Canadians.
Yeah, that interesting discussion between the Canadians and the Nigerians there and everything. That's fun to listen to. And then I just want to say, because we've had surprises. So are you still expecting surprise? We'll discuss that more on our next show. Do you think there will be more surprises? Germans were stunned, Australians were stunned, the Philippines were stunned. Which one? Some other countries were stunned, and where you're not expecting. Jamaica stunned people. The big names, even US, that I thought would win. Yeah, Italy. even yes, Italy. Although I didn't put Italy in high esteem in this tournament. Even Brazil, I was thinking Brazil will win their match, their match. So United States too. I thought United States would beat Netherlands hands down. So what surprises are you expecting? Are the big names still going to win? And I mean, do you still expect the big names to win? And then, what do you think will interest you? Do you want the underdogs to defeat the big names that people are expecting to win? And then New Zealand is out, the host. What do you think will happen to the tournament? So I want you to let's discuss it, because number one, maybe we should take my first question about what you expect in the next few days after these teams have qualified. And then, with the host leaving, one of the hosts, do you think if Australia goes out of the tournament, things will still be the same? I want Canada to win, I want Nigeria to qualify, but what effect will it have on the tournament itself when the two hosts, the co-hosts, are leaving the tournament, if they eventually leave the tournament? So that's my first question. So I'll direct my question first to Robbie. So what do you think will happen if the host leaves? The co-host, so Australia doesn't qualify tomorrow, and New Zealand has already left.
I don't think anything special is going to happen to the tournament. Even the hosts themselves, Australia and New Zealand, they knew they were not actually going to go as far as possible into this tournament because looking at every other team that is at this tournament, Australia and New Zealand are not the strongest when it comes to football in the world. So I am so sure their fans are so happy with what New Zealand has done so far. New Zealand won a game, they drew a game, and they lost a game. So I think with 4 points, I think their fans should have something to cheer about, as well as also look at how much the team has been able to unite the country, achieve as well, and of course build on that template. So there's a legacy that they can build on for the years to come, which is we hosted the tournament, we did not do so badly. Out of our possible 12 points, out of possible 9 points, I beg your pardon, we had 4 points. So I think that is not something bad. It doesn't reflect bad on us as a host nation. And of course, I think from there we can build on. Same thing as Australia. When it comes to women's football in the world, you will even rank Norway, that has won the Women's World Cup once, even higher than Australia itself. So looking at that in that perspective, I don't think the Australians have anything to complain about either, because looking at the teams that they have in their group, if you actually put Australia and Nigeria side by side, I think you still want to stick out your neck for Nigeria. And if you put Australia and Canada side by side, definitely it's a no-brainer. You will go straight up with Canada. So I think for the two host nations, if Australia joins New Zealand, that is on the sidelines tomorrow, I think so far so good. Both countries have done very well, and I think it's a good template for them to look forward and, of course, improve women's football in the country. But as it is, I don't think anybody is going to feel anything, because nobody was actually expecting Australia and New Zealand in the quarterfinals or semi-finals or even the finals.
Okay, thank you, Robbie. Does anybody have any contrary opinion about it? Because I was watching today and I saw that despite the fact that Colombia was not playing, the hosts were not playing today, the stadium was so filled up with fans from each country. I was so surprised that so many Colombians there, so many Germans there. So that's what I partially agree with Robbie until I hear what Frankie says. I have to say.
It's all well and good what Robbie said, but over the years we all know that the further the host nation goes, the better the attendance. New Zealand, not really known for football internationally, not highly rated, I mean. How many people come and watch football now? I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I feel like the competition will be hit were it to be played in a country that was football crazy, yeah, maybe they would have got away with people still coming out to watch football. So I'm a bit on the sideline to see how things will fare as the competition goes. You know, it's like you take, for example, when the Euro took place in England, we had full capacity in stadiums because it's a football mad country. So I'm a bit on the edge with that one. I'm not too sure if it's not going to affect the competition as a whole.
Okay. So thank you. We'll watch it. I know the English fans are so crazy about the English team and all that, and they are football crazy. Anyway, we'll move on from that and try to just ask quick questions before we end the program. So, which teams are you planning to see? And like I said, I put so many things in my last question. Which ones? I mean, what shocker are you expecting, or we should wait until teams qualify? But I mean, from your own opinion, what do you think? Let me ask Peter first before I ask Taufik.
Well, quite unfortunately, I don't do shockers where women's football is concerned. I mean, I just take the results as they come. For instance, the Philippines game, I was not expecting them to win their first game. And now they've gone and lost so heavily. Then the game between Morocco and South Korea. I mean, though the Moroccans did win that game, their play was marked by very poor finishing. And I expected the South Koreans to turn around and win the game, which never did happen. So when it comes to shockers, I don't really know. If we were talking about men's football, I may have been able to come up with a shocker or two. But in this case, I'm afraid I don't really know. I just take things the way they come. I mean, that a 5-0 defeat that Norway handed to Italy, I certainly didn't see that coming. I mean, if Norway was going to win the match, maybe 1-0, maybe 2-1, but 5-0, I didn't see that.
So who are you hoping to see?
And it's the same way I did not see Nigeria beating Australia either. I didn't see that coming too, especially because Australia is the host nation and they are a relative force to reckon with in women's football.
Okay. So who are you hoping to see in the? I mean, your wish to see in the next getting to the round of 16?
Well, the teams that I wish to see get to the round of 16 are the teams that deserve being there. France is a team that would earn a place, just as with Brazil, as with Norway. As with Sweden. And can I also say Colombia, based on what I saw today?
Okay. So
in the case of England, I worry about England's finishing. They've only been able to score one goal each in both of their games, even though what's her name now? Lauren James scored one of the best goals on the tournament. And then there's one country nobody has spoken about at all, which is not surprising based on the fact that they are just not in it at all. Argentina, a force to reckon with in men's football. They lost their first game against Italy.
Against Italy.
That has been hammered.
Against Italy.
Yes, against Italy. You're right.
Against Italy. Yes, that lost their first game against if they lost their first game 1-0, conceding a goal within the last 3 minutes of the game, and then had to fight back a 2-0 deficit with South Africa to win 2-2, even though it must be noted for those, in case you haven't seen the game, that they did score one of the best goals in the tournament when they got one back.
Yeah.
How do they intend to go through against Sweden? that is on a high right now. I don't know.
Okay.
But like I said,
Yes.
from what I've seen so far, they are not there. So
They're
I
not there.
don't really know about shockers.
Okay.
The teams that are going to be there are teams that deserve to be there.
There. Okay, Peter, I know you want Argentina, your team, to be there, but sorry, I doubt if they will be there. So,
I just said they are not in the tournament. They're not there.
okay, that's nice. I know where your heart is, where your head is right now concerning that team. Thank you so much.
It's going to be the teams that deserve it.
Okay, thank you. So, Frankie, what do you think? Because I can't see Taufik. Whether he's still around. Are you still on, Taufik? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah. So, what are the teams you are expecting to see, or what shockers do you think will happen? The big teams that have not been playing fantastically well. They're not running teams over. So, what do you think right now? Are you expecting other things to happen, or you're just feeling that these big teams will win?
Basically, like Peter said, the teams that I'm expecting in the round of 16 are the teams that should be there. However, the only anomaly I'm looking at is Jamaica. The confidence they've been able to get a draw and a win. I believe their third match, they're going to go all the way. And if they're able to get a draw or a win and qualify for the round of 16, I wouldn't be surprised if they go as far as the semi-final. They are the outcasts that I'm looking at that sheer grit and determination could carry them all the way. Apart from that, it's the regulars, the good teams that I expect to see in the round of 16. But I'm still holding a touch out for Jamaica. I believe they will get a draw or a win in that last match, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see them in the semi-finals, irrespective of whether they meet better teams or not. Thank you.
Very interesting. Frankie, before I move to Jeremy, Frankie, what do you think about the next few weeks? Or the next 1 week? Let me just say 1 week.
Well, as the competition has shown us, some of the main contenders are in the danger of exiting. With the way Colombia played today, I can only see a good spirited team, like bonding together, like coming together to help them go forward in this competition. I think that's a confidence booster. The way they play today against Germany must not be underrated. It shouldn't, this is a big win for Colombia today, and I think it will just settle the team down. And I think there's more to come from this team. Jamaica, I only saw one game, which was the draw. I haven't really had the opportunity of watching them. I think it's down to the fact that the time they air it over here in England. England's gonna be there. I'm not changing. Spain is my number 2 team. I love the way they play. They ticky-tacky. They're not big in stature, but they remind me so much of the Spanish men's team. So I would like to see them go further in this team, in this competition. Sorry. I really love the way they play.
Thank you so much. Sorry that I was trying to interrupt. I mistakenly interrupted. Jeremy, so I know Jamaica was one of your sleepers. So what do you think? I heard Miriam Dakar, Australia is injured. And so what do you expect? Just in general, I know we're still going to discuss this after the teams qualify, but just give us your feelings. What you feel about things.
I'm not going to go to sleep on Portugal against the U.S. I don't feel like the U.S. has really shown anything, as to what they have been in the past. We haven't really talked about them much at all. I just don't I don't know. I just have this feeling about Portugal and how they're going to be up for that game. And I think they may not be the stronger side, as far as on paper goes, but I kind of feel like maybe they might come from behind on this one and actually either get a draw or get a win and possibly put U.S. out. I think all the major players right across the board, I think, all the other ones, I think I'm pretty solid on what everybody's saying. I think the ones that have played so well throughout the first stage certainly deserve to be there. The reason why I'm liking Jamaica along with Taoufik is the fact I did see their game against Panama. The way they played, the structure, the tenacity that they showed, the fitness level that they showed against Panama, I really like that. And so that's why I'm not sleeping on them either. I think they could be another one that could come in and be another Morocco. Like the Men's World Cup, right? They could definitely be something like that. So those are the ones that I kind of like. As far as teams to go even further, I'm kind of with everybody on England, Spain. I have seen some of the highlights of their games, and they have been highlights. I like their ball movement. I love the way that they play. They're playing like a team. A lot of countries, when you get in, especially in world football, whether it's men's or women's, they don't play like a cohesive team. They play like a whole bunch of collection of really strong players, and they are playing like a team, and I do like that. It's some beautiful football to watch. So that's kind of where I'm at with what I think is going to happen in the next round.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the time spent with everybody. Robbie, can you just round things off before I now close the program, end the program?
Well, I think overall for the Women's World Cup, it's been an amazing time. I would say it again. I've seen a couple of beautiful goals scored so far in this tournament. The goal scored by Lauren James is one goal. The technicality of that goal is beautiful, and if you watch it in slow-mo, it just makes you want to press to replay over and over and over again as you get that goal. That goal is beautiful, well executed. The vision for her to have spotted the goalkeeper off a line, and for her not to go for power, but to go for placement. It tells you how brilliant that goal was started. And for the goal of today, the Linda Caicedo's goal, it is such a beauty. It is such a beauty because looking at how much time and space she had in the box to outwit two German defenders and be able to place the ball, or let me say, almost pitch perfect into the top corner, which gave the goalkeeper absolutely no chance to even get close to it. I think that is another highlight for you. And looking at the fact that she's just 18 years old, and of course, just like Frankie would say, is more or less looking at Arsenal to try and bring in the money to sign this lady. Well, no problem. Let's see how Arsenal can go as the guest. So I think so far so good. The tournament has been blessed with amazing goals. It has been blessed with very, very good spirit. Generally, the hosts of the tournaments have been amazing hosts to the rest of the world. New Zealand has showcased their culture, showcased their tenacity as a people, and they have been very welcoming. Same as the Australians. Australia is such a beautiful place. Hopefully, one of these days I'll visit, and of course, I'll get to see amazing things about the people. So I think overall, the World Cup has been an amazing tournament, and kudos to all the ladies and all the countries.
Thank you. I think Frankie has something to say so that I won't be accused of being a biased host, especially against Arsenal. So, especially against the Gunners. So, quickly,
it's only because I never really got to say when you asked the question regarding men and women's football. I just wanted to touch quickly on that topic. It's a topic that's never going to end. You know? We're going to talk about it in 20 years' time because, this is the world we live in now where comparisons are made. But for me, if you're a football lover, it doesn't matter who plays football. It does not matter who plays football. Like Robbie said earlier on, if you look at the goals, the quality of the goals, for example, I love it, and I want to see more of that. And I believe we all should expect more goals So it's not a gender thing, you know. When you see a woman on a football, don't watch that part of it. Just look at the art of football itself. That's all that matters. You know, I've been made fun of, you know, by people telling me, so you watch women football? You know, I laugh at them. I laugh at them because, you know, if they had daughters, would they not want their daughters to play football? Would they want to deprive their daughters of an opportunity to shine, to be known, to make money? You know? So, for me, I'm loving football. I know this competition has really shown what talents, you know, are made of. It's not about gender, you know? Let's just watch football and enjoy it more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. I agree to an extent what Peter said, that maybe it's not going to the level of the men football, and I agree with what Jeremy Frankie said, that football is football, soccer is soccer, irrespective of who is playing it. Let's just enjoy it, and I hope this podcast will pique interest of people into female football, just like you guys are watching, and Jeremy is coaching, Robbie is giving analysis, Peter is posting things about watching female football, attracting people. Taufik is always talking about it with people and with me. I really, really appreciate that. I'm talking from a woman hosting a program that.
Sorry, can I just say something one last thing, please?
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
go ahead.
I just want to react to what Frankie has just said about women and football. Women playing football is a beautiful thing. Seeing women play football, I just see women being interested in football. But the point I raised, is an entirely different situation. Okay? Will the women's game on a global scale get as much attention as the men's game? It's an entirely different thing as to watching women play football. Personally, I don't believe that the female game will get that much global attention. But that's not to say I don't enjoy or I don't want to watch women playing football. It's a beautiful thing. It's a good thing. Women should play football just as much as the men do. But to get that same global attention, like I said, for instance, the FIFA World Cup, what can catch global attention as much as that? So you see, that is where the gender thing comes in. It's not about women playing football. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's our that's why we're together, to have diverse opinions and everything. And like I said, I hope this podcast will increase interest in female football, so that in the next 10 years, 20 years, we'll be able to, the female soccer will have that followership and that audience as much as the men's football, because we know how far the men's football has come and where they are now. And the female football just started, the competition, the World Cup just started, was it 1999? That was when it was started being played. So hopefully things will be fine.
1991.
1991.
Was it one? I think my
1991
was. Oh, okay. My first watching female was 1999, the World Cup. So maybe it started before then. But thank you. I really appreciate everybody. I enjoyed myself. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself, the conversation, the arguments, the diverse opinions, and all that. I enjoyed it, and I hope I'll get feedback from people that watch this podcast and from you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. See you next time. I will do better next time. Thank you. Bye for now.